The American family farmer was once the gold standard for food production throughout the entire world. It's still true today that American agriculture has been the most successful in world history, and whether we speak of George Washington Carver, Norman Borlaug, or Henry Wallace, American agriculture has thoroughly defeated every crazy theory about world famine put forward from the time of Parson Thomas Malthus in the 1790s to the days of William Paddock's famine 1975. It has been the American family farmer that has done that, not the American corporate farm, and maybe that's why the American family farmer is being threatened with near extinction today by monetary forces. We're about to hear from Mike Callicrate of Colorado. He's a cattleman. He's the founder of Ranch Foods Direct, and he's the operator of something called Mike's No Bull blog.
Hi, I'm Mike Callicrate. I'm in Colorado Springs today at my food hub and meat operation, Ranch Foods Direct, and wanted to talk about world hunger and poverty across the globe, and want to discuss a little bit about what kind of a food system will best serve humanity's interest. And it won't be a highly concentrated monoculture that's centrally planned by a handful of big corporations. It won't be an extraction mining operation because those only have a very short life in the course of human existence. And it won't be technology saving us and feeding us in the future. It'll be more people on the land producing food that we can eat rather than food that has to be processed into something that honestly isn't good for our health. And so the question is, will humanity prosper or perish? And this is from an earlier Schiller presentation, this particular slide. But since COVID, what do we have, and what do we need to do to go forward? And so we know that more people may die from hunger than the coronavirus this year, says aid group Oxfam. The virus has killed a lot of people. It's disrupted our economies. It's shown how vulnerable we are with an industrial food system that uses supply chains that fall apart with a disease outbreak like COVID. So what would serve our needs better? And I would say a more decentralized system would most certainly serve our system better. A more local regional food system type of an approach would serve our food system much better and citizens across the globe. The impoverishment and the malnourishment of a civilization is directly correlated with the consolidation and industrialization of the food supply. We saw that in the United States with all of the empty shelves during the COVID outbreak, the supply chain breakdowns, the vulnerability, and we simply cannot go back to that system. And it's the small plants like mine that were able to produce at 400% of the year earlier because our workers just stepped up and worked harder and worked longer. Plus, we had a supply chain that didn't run out of livestock. And I was able to just increase slaughter and get more meat on the shelves and take care of our community. Unlike any of the big meat packers whose systems all failed, along with their retail partners and food service companies, all failed to meet the needs of humanity during this COVID crisis. Concentration of power and wealth is the greatest threat to any free society. So anything we do going forward to feed the world, I think, has to involve local and regional food infrastructure. And the greatest worry and threat to a concentrated food system is local food and people feeding themselves from their own communities. And so the model that we've had now for the last 50 years, the industrial model, this is what it's done to our land. It's a mining operation. It mines the wealth from healthy soil. It destroys our land, and it for the short-term benefit of a few big global corporations. So we have to go after the big global corporations and their monopoly power over our food supply. Look at the land loss. Look at the soil loss. Franklin Roosevelt talked about a nation that destroys its soils, destroys itself. And this is a picture I took from my airplane on December 24, 2013. This Dust dirt cloud was 200 miles long from Colorado Springs to the Kansas border. It was 12,500 feet high. It was over 4 miles across, moving south at 50 miles an hour. This is eastern Colorado soil loss, and with it, a lost ability to feed ourselves. And this is just what it looks like from the air. The white color of the soil in this photograph is very, very indicative of the soil health in eastern Colorado. This is land that has been allowed to wash away and blow away for generations and decades, and is now unable. You cannot grow food on this land without chemical fertilizers. Only animals can heal this land. Only animals and manure from those animals can heal this land. In order to have animals back on the land, it takes people returning to the land. And so we've got to localize, we've got to regionalize, and we've got to control the monopolies and the predators in the marketplace to allow new infrastructure to be able to succeed and to do well and provide our needs. And so I think the solution to poverty and hunger is to break up the monopolies while building local regional food infrastructure around communities and healthy soil. And here are 4 books that I hope many of you will read and support legislation, support policies that break up monopolies and support independent business and let people across the globe feed themselves from their own communities. That will take some major policy changes to take the land out of the control of the modern day landlords and put people back in charge of their own food infrastructure and ability to feed themselves. This is the Callicrate regenerative farming and ranching sort of model. Notice it's a circular model that goes from soil back to soil. Healthy soils, healthy people make healthy communities. The current system is a linear system of extraction. It's a mining operation, and we have to get rid of it, and we have to replace it with this more regenerative farming and ranching sort of system that we've developed at Callicrate Cattle Company. So you can go to mycallicrate.com and check out my blog and the other things that we do. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be on today and to discuss this with you all. Thank you.